So when you hear this sound, rethink your behaviour. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit savethefood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
90.3 WHPC.
We now return to your family's health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Welcome back to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. And I'm Jeanine Cook-Garard, and I'm here with Shannon O'Shea. And we're talking to Ilan Danieli about liquid biopsies. And Ilan, he works for a company called Precipio. So welcome back, Ilan.
Thanks for having me.
So tell me about your company. Is this a company that specifically and only deals with liquid biopsies?
No. So actually, we started the company in 2011. All of us members of our team were touched by cancer in various ways, and we've all experienced the problem of misdiagnosis and seen it. And to us, in the 21st century, it's simply unacceptable that a patient that is dealing with cancer may find out that they're dealing with the wrong cancer. And so we've decided to build a company to battle that issue. And the way we did that was to partner with high-end academic institutions who have the experts that are needed to correctly diagnose cancer. So our belief is that, the oncologist can be the best oncologist in the world. If they've been handed a diagnosis that is incorrect, they're being led down the wrong path, and the patient, has a far lesser chance of beating this disease. So that's what drove us to start the company. As we developed over the years, we also identified technologies that would help us in our mission of providing the correct diagnosis, among them liquid biopsies.
So Shannon has a question for you.
Okay, so my question to you, is it hard to get a second opinion?
It shouldn't be. Second opinions, I would say that the biggest hurdle to getting a second opinion is a physician's ego, and that shouldn't be the case. Many patients are hesitant, concerned. They think they're second-guessing their doctor, and they may upset the doctor, and that shouldn't be the case. A patient who wants a second opinion should easily be able to request that for the physician, and it's very easy to get that. It really depends on the physician's network and the access that they have. One of the things that our company provides is access to hundreds of academic pathologists, diagnosticians, who can provide that second opinion, and we make it very easy to do it. But there's many other institutions who are glad to provide second opinions. From what we've seen, most of these get stuck in the dialogue with the physician. If everyone agrees that a second opinion is the way to go, it's usually relatively easy to obtain.
Okay, and what would you say to a healthcare provider who might reject the idea of another opinion?
I would ask them why. I would ask them if there's anything standing in the way of making sure that this disease is correct. I would remind that healthcare professional that we're all human and that there's a chance we all make mistakes. It's really a service that has zero downside. There's nothing that should stand in the way of someone getting a second opinion, which, in the best way can confirm that everyone is on the right page and the decisions are correct in terms of how to treat the patient.
So, Ilan, in your research, has it been found that the liquid biopsy results match that of the tissue biopsy?
Yes, absolutely. So there's been, every technology that's developed has to go through rigorous testing and validation process to ensure that it provides accurate and reproducible results. And so there's numerous side-by-side studies that are done to ensure that this yields correct results. What's interesting is that we found that liquid biopsies can actually provide more comprehensive answers because of several factors, and I'll provide two of them. So when a tumor biopsy is done, essentially a needle goes in, and as you described, a piece of the biopsy is aspirated. Well, it turns out that the tumor is not homogeneous. There could be different areas that have different biological characteristics, and if a biopsy has been taken off of one side of the tumor, it may not be a comprehensive assessment of the entire biopsy. Whereas the entire tumor is shedding DNA into the bloodstream, and the bloodstream picks up everything. The other factor is a patient may have a tumor elsewhere. Sometimes patients will identify, chest pains, and it turns out they have a biopsy in their lung, and that's where the focus is on. Well, they may have another tumor hiding somewhere else that is overlooked. And again, that tumor is shedding DNA into the bloodstream that can be picked up. So the liquid biopsy is really kind of a catch-all that can pick up oftentimes a lot more than the actual tissue biopsy can identify.
So, in your view, what are some of the things that, or how can a person reach or get more information about the liquid biopsy through Precipio? What is it? Is there an email or is there a website that you guys have? And tell me about the website.
Sure, certainly. So our website is www.precipiodx.com. There's plenty of information there, and we have a customer service line that anyone can call and get information. I would encourage every patient to discuss this with their physician. Many physicians, I would say most physicians today are educated and well-versed with the area of liquid biopsy, and while it is a new field, I think there's a lot of excitement about it. So I would encourage patients to discuss this with their physician and get their advice and input on this. We're always happy to speak with any physician who reaches out to us and share with them what we're doing.
You're listening to Your Family's Health on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. And today our special guest is Ilan Danieli, and we're talking today about liquid biopsy. So, Ilan, when in your experience, and I think this is wonderful because now people can have another means by which they're able to be diagnosed early. And be treated early from this very devastating illness, and that's cancer. Is there any kind of correspondence where patients get online to talk about the liquid biopsy and their experience, that maybe someone who is listening can listen to the commentaries of others who have experienced liquid biopsy?
Well, that's a little bit tricky because obviously we follow HIPAA rules, and we can't sort of openly.
I mean,
share.
They could have anonymously, just shared their views about their experiences.
Right. Yeah. So our company doesn't provide that directly, but there's many websites, and there's wonderful support networks and organizations that provide numerous stories about it. The internet is of course a phenomenal tool to aid patients in searching and learning more about their disease, and we always encourage everyone to look into that. There's many resources that are available on this, and a quick search will pick up many of those.
Because I can imagine there are many people who, when they think about a tissue biopsy and they're told of how the biopsy is going to be obtained, they will probably look at this as being a very viable option for them to diagnose if there is a suspected cancer that they feel, or maybe there is a lump or something that they have been told that they possibly have. This would be a definite diagnostic test that can be done for patients to confirm a diagnosis of cancer. Would you agree?
Yes, I would. Again, I would still say that unless the patient is in a position where a tissue biopsy is not an option, I think it's still probably the best possibility, because there's other tests that are done that can only be done on a solid tumor. At the end of the day, the pathologist is actually looking at a piece of tissue and evaluating it through the microscope, and so that is additional information that is really important. So, as clinicians, as diagnosticians, we want to get as much information as we can in order to know how to treat the patient.
Is there anything that we missed that you would like to share with the listening audience regarding the liquid biopsy?
No, I think this is a very exciting field. I think, cancer patients and their families should feel optimistic that companies are continuing to develop better tools and better ways to treat and battle cancer. All the data shows that we're getting better at it. Many cancers are becoming chronic. Cancers that 25 or 50 years ago would have been a death sentence are today chronic, and patients are living with them for years. So I'm optimistic, and I'm excited to be in this field. It's wonderful to be able to help and make a difference in patients' lives.
You said that those that you started the company with, Precipio, also had been diagnosed with cancer. Is that correct?
Well, no, I said that we've all experienced, whether individually or through family or friends. We've seen the perils of misdiagnosis.
Okay. Yes. And so would you suggest to our listening audience in terms of not just the physical, but the psychological component to being diagnosed with cancer, as this is one aspect, the liquid biopsy, but also the emotional aspects that is connected to being diagnosed with cancer?
Oh, 100%. That's a critical part. And there's numerous studies that have shown that the patient's emotional strength is a key driver in their body battling cancer. So, patients are fortunate to have their families around them and are blessed to have an important support circle to help them through this difficult time. And, by the way, it's a battle not just for the patient themselves. It's the whole family, goes through this sort of hurricane that hits families.
Yeah, yeah. So
the emotional support is critical.
Yeah, so this company is really great. Where are you located?
We're based out of New Haven, Connecticut.
Okay. And are there others like you?
There are many diagnostic companies. We have chosen a unique focus on misdiagnosis. So as far as I know, there's no company like us that has the same model. We also have a unique and proprietary technology in terms of liquid biopsy. So every company has similarities and differences.
So the practitioner who takes the sample, they send the sample to you. How does that work with your company?
Yep, that's right. We engage with a clinician, provide them with a sample collection kit and the paperwork and everything they need, and it's very easy. These get shipped out overnighted to our laboratory where we conduct the tests and report the results to them.
Well, thank you so much. This was so informative for the listening audience as well as myself. Thank you, Ilan Danieli, for talking to us about liquid biopsy and your company, Precipio. And we want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning in, listening to our show today. This is Jeanine Cook-Garard, and I'm here with Shannon O'Shea. Thank you for listening to Your Family's Health.
We'd like to get your feedback on your family's health. Send your comments by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu. Podcasts of today's show are available on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This program was produced at the studios of Nassau Community College in cooperation with the Nursing Department. Executive producer for this series is Jim Green. Join us next week for another edition of Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.